Good morning, pirates. Calendar week 31. Poetry, please. Pigs, progress, and pumpkins. This week at the barracks has been an aural sensation. When the sun warmed the leguminous broom plants, heating the seed pods, we were treated to the familiar popping of the tiny black Ginster Genista peas, scattering them with tiny solar-powered explosions. And the larks, who usually shout their solitary, territory-marking songs, jumbled and incomprehensible from high above the fields, were suddenly at war, an aerial incursion, a dogfight of dive-bombing and wheeling, pulling serious G's in the corners, and competitive one-upmanship of trilling, whistling, challenged flurries of competitive sforzandos. Time does strange things around here, or rather, it doesn't seem to exist as a thing that can be measured. There are the rhythms of the day, wake, eat, work, feed the pigs at dawn and dusk. And there are the patterns of the year. The flow of the garden is the slow annual process of growing, turning seeds into more seeds. Weeks, months, days, the other subdivisions of time are known, but not noted. The book of the barracks is as close as I get to a diary. Memories filtered and selected, and an approximation of a countryside record of constancy and change. So when another washout week of rain keeps me from the garden, it's really helpful to be able to look back and see that sometimes progress is made. I wasn't sure if we moved the pigs over to the summer field this week or last, and had the feeling that I'd have probably mentioned it in that week's newsletter. By review and omission, I think it was indeed done this week. Every year the summer house gets rebuilt and improved. Once they had an extensive veranda and sun deck. This year we've enclosed the space for comfort and privacy. They seem pretty happy. I found this chapter from 2 weeks ago, and it turns out that we really have been busy in the garden. There's quite a rundown of all the things that I've planned for the coming weeks, and it looks like we've actually done all or most of them. Pumpkins, beans and tomatoes all got planted out. We've been eating peas, courgettes and potatoes almost daily, spinach twice a week. I made gooseberry jelly and blackcurrant syrup that tastes exactly like Ribena. The pigs are happy and all things seem to be moving in the right direction, slowly. I've also had many conversations about the state of the world. It's not looking great out there, and I understand the frustrations of being a very small human in a world that is running away from our ability to process it. From geopolitics to the passing of a loved and admired famous person, I grew up surrounded by people who sound like Ozzy. I don't have any answers for how we're supposed to cope, not specifically. But I do have some thoughts about building personal resilience. I'm trying to get them down on paper, but I suspect it can be summed up as philosophy and poetry. I'd like to know your favourite poems. There is an idea that only old people know poetry. This is nonsense, elitist and ignorant. Song lyrics absolutely count. There is more truth in the text of War Pigs by Sabbath than in the libretto of any opera I've heard. So in troubled times, what lines do you return to? Add your trusted poems, lyrics, half-remembered psalms from school in the comments, please. I look forward to reading them and see you down there, or next week in your inbox. Much piratey love. Your pirate pen. XO. XO. There is a footnote to this. It says, I do not sound much like Ozzy, but my fellow Brummies can almost always tell that I'm actually from Birmingham. The story of how I discovered that there are 2 Birmingham accents and that I have the other one is too long to tell here, but it is a fun one, and if we're sitting around a fire one day, I'll be very happy to tell it to you.